Hi everyone, Bernard here with the latest Citizen vlog, City Present, this one. Looking back at the Manchester City Fulham FA Cup 4th round game on the 26th of January 2020. We'll be having a look at later what's happening on the Twitterverse with City. Obviously a bit of fallout yesterday about certain things, which we'll have a quick talk about. And obviously we'll be having a look at the Carabao Cup semi-final preview against United on Wednesday the 29th at 7:45 p.m. So I'll have a quick look back at that, look forward to that, and obviously I'll look back just at a couple of other League Cup semi-finals against United, just a very brief thing. Thanks for joining me anyway today. Right, City versus Fulham, 26 of the first 20. The team, yeah, I mean, it was probably more or less what we were sort of thinking, wasn't it? Allowing for any sort of little niggles or injuries that are going on. We had Bravo, Cancelo, Garcia. It's always nice to see Garcia there. Otamendi, Angelino again, nice to see him there. Gundogan, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Mahrez, and Jesus. And no, I'm not talking about the bench. There's a couple, obviously, all three of the players got on yesterday. Referee Kevin Friend. Well, he's not really a friend to us, but then again, what referees usually are much of a friend to us these days. But let's go on to the game. I mean, I'll tell you few more things afterwards about stats, etc. when we run through the game and obviously do the player ratings and with Stuart, Brennan watch and what he thought. And I don't think we disagree on too much this week. When I'm rating the players, I'm taking into consideration the team we're playing, obviously the circumstances that very quickly evolved yesterday in the game. Right, on to the game itself. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, I don't think there's any real ugly yesterday. A bit annoyances, but no real uglies. So there's a few good and bads. I mean, the first good thing was it was a great ball, wasn't it, on 6 minutes? Literally, I think we started quite well, and then it sort of first minute, I think we had a sort of half chance that didn't quite come off. But then within 6 minutes, I mean, the whole game turned on its head, and as a spectacle, it was probably put to bed after 6 minutes. It was a great through ball by Gundogan. And I think it was David Silva dummied, a superb little dummy. I mean, sometimes you don't have to touch the ball to make it work for you, do you? And so it left Jesus on. And yeah, then I don't need the captain, the Fulham captain, Ream, is it Tim Ream? Or is it named Ream? I mean, I thought he was just going to accept the fact that Jesus had got the one better side of him, let the goalkeeper can make a save, but he didn't. He pulled him back, and it didn't look as bad on replays, but he definitely touched him. And obviously, I don't think there's any argument. They did a VAR check, and obviously, they agreed with what the referee decided, that it should have been a penalty. So, but as far as the game was concerned, any sort of game plan Fulham had, and even I think Pep said after the match in his post-match press conference, it sort of changed things for City as well, because it just changed all the tactics and how the game was going to be played. So it's quite unusual, especially going down to 10 men that early. But I think a really bad decision by the Fulham, really bad. I mean, good for us, but bad for Fulham, very bad for Fulham to pull Jesus back like that. I just can't understand the logic. Anyway, that was the 6 minutes. So it's a couple of minutes, and that'll come into play in a minute, in 2 or 3 minutes. It was a couple of minutes later for Gundogan actually stepped up, took a sideways run. He was from one side, and you know me, I like to think, where's the ball going to go? I hadn't looked at where Gundogan usually places him, so I didn't have the benefit of that. But I thought, well, the way he's shaping, is he shaping to curl it to the goalkeeper's right, or is he trying to fool the goalie and he's going to put it to the goalie's left? But I thought, go right, goalkeeper, and obviously it did go to his right, but it was a cracking penalty. He was right into the side netting, so it was a superbly taken penalty. So I'm not going to say I would have got to it, but obviously, because you're not allowed to move much these days, are you? Then again, you're not allowed to move off the line. You can move. Can you move along the line? I'm not even sure what the rules are these days. But it's a great penalty. 1-0. That was more or less it. Once it really, after that, he just couldn't envisage Fulham doing anything after 1-0. I mean, they couldn't have held out for 0-0 with 10 men. So there you go. 10 minutes, Angelino had one of his air shots that we were quite good at yesterday overall, City. On 12 minutes, Mahrez had a lovely, this is a good thing. He had sort of shimmied and jinked in the box. The Fulham players were a bit frightened of him. And then he ended up on his right foot and he took his shot, which just a bit to the goalie's right. So he managed to save it. But it was nice work by Mahrez. He did okay with that. Phil Foden, it sort of summed his afternoon up. He had a couple of chances on 15 and 16 minutes. There's one where it came across on 15 minutes. It was just behind him, actually, so he'd run a bit too far. Perhaps he'd been Aguero or Jesus. He might have stood a yard or so back and got to it, but the ball went behind him, so he missed it. And then he had a good chance, and he blasted with his left foot wide of the post quite quickly after about 16 minutes. But we didn't have long to wait for the next bit of good, which was obviously Bernardo. I mean, who's hit a bit of form again, thankfully. I know we're playing Fulham today, but we've seen this when he's been playing anyway. And he did his usual, again, little went one way, went the other way. Left foot shot, bottom corner, bit bit further out, but a bit like Old Trafford last year, where he put it into right inside the post. It virtually kisses the post as it goes in the net. That was a great Bernardo goal for 2-0. And funnily enough, on 21 minutes after that, Fulham had, I think it was their only chance of the game. There was a shot that did well. I think the Fulham player did well, and the shot ended up just straight at Claudio Bravo, who had a simple save to make. And quite quickly after that, and we're only talking 23 minutes, Foden again should have done a little bit better, but shot over again. So that was a tale of Foden's day, really. And there wasn't much else in the first half. It was quite 2-0. It was just comfortable and simple. And I think getting back to the point I made earlier about the penalty was given after 6 minutes, and we actually scored after 8. So there's 2 minutes. But we had 2 goals. We had 2 players down with injuries, where the coach and they had to limp off. And we had the sending off, which took time, obviously, as I say, the 6 of the 8 minutes. And yet there was only 1 minute added time. And this is a bugbear to me. It doesn't matter yesterday. It's not a big problem. But what about when it is a big problem? What about when it's a big game, when perhaps a team is putting a bit of energy and putting on the pressure just before half time? And when there should be 4, 5, 6 minutes even added time for the first half, you're not getting it. So it didn't matter yesterday, but it's wrong. It's just another simple thing that can be taken away from the referee, can be taken to a separate guy to do the time, who obviously allows a little bit of leeway. Obviously, he's not going to be strictly stopping the watch every time the ball goes out of play, stuff like that. But the referee shouldn't have to do that now. I mean, he's pretty useless at everything anyway, and he's useless at that. So to add a minute yesterday, even to say to add a minute because of the circumstances, Fulham aren't doing, that's nothing to do with it. It don't matter who you're playing. It should be added time. Should be what it is. It should be reasonable and for what's happened. And yesterday again, it was absolutely pathetic. So I mean, a bugbear of mine. But as I say, it didn't matter yesterday. But sometimes it will matter, and that's what really annoys me. Anyway, on to the second half. A bit more of the same from City. You had a early doors, 46 minutes, an air shot from Mahrez. 53 minutes, we had Sterling, who come on to replace Mahrez. I thought Mahrez had a good game. Sterling, who obviously has been totally out of form, that's 50. So he had 37 minutes to do something. On 59 minutes, he hit the bar, which is about the best thing he did all game again. He didn't really do a lot again, Mr. Sterling. I can't understand why Pep keeps playing him. I mean, he's supposed to be playing him to give him confidence, but I don't think he was doing him any good whatsoever. I think someone, one of the podcasts I listened to yesterday, said just send him on holiday somewhere, which I probably agree with. I just have no idea why Sterling's still playing. 72 minutes. We had to wait till then for the third goal. I said it was all a bit boring. The crowd were down. Obviously, we'll talk about the crowd in a minute. It wasn't very exciting. In fact, I think once we went 3-0, the Cancelo cross, and there's a great header from Jesus, superb again. He gets his head down, gets the ball down into the net, well-headed goal. Made it 3-0. The crowd picked up a little bit, actually. I mean, there was a VAR check for this, wasn't there? But if you told me about a month ago the VAR check with Jesus, I would have been worried. But I think I said in the previous blog, I think he's been improving. I think Jesus on staying on side. I think he's actually, the penny's dropped, or someone's been coaching him. So I was quite happy that, and again, I didn't see a stop frame of it, but it did look as though he may have wandered offside, but obviously it was VAR checks and everything was okay. So a great goal. That was 72 minutes. I say that he lifted the crowd a little bit. I mean, us that were singing, I mean, I say I wasn't the most vociferous yesterday, but I felt a bit, I was on my own. My lad didn't go yesterday for other reasons. So I just felt a bit out of it on my own there. And obviously in the singing section again, I was surrounded by people I didn't recognise or know, which is funny. Singing section, you should have at least, say, 50 guys, 60, 70, 80 guys who are there all the time that sing. Remember the old Kipats used to congregate in a certain place, and they used to have the regulars there singing, and it just doesn't work, is it? With seats, it just doesn't work with this singing section. It's not really worked for a couple of seasons now. That's another vlog, isn't it? That's another thing. Anyway, on 74 minutes, so 3-0 up. On 74 minutes, Stones for Otamendi. Nice to see John Stones come on. We had about 20 of us singing. Everyone needs John Stones in the middle for a minute or two. 75 minutes, Rodri came on for Gundogan. And on 75 minutes again, we made it 4-0, which was, I think it was a shot from Foden, was it? And a great poaching effort from Jesus with his head again to pick up the ball and make it a more comfortable 4-0 as it probably should have been. And then Mr. Sterling on 82 minutes had another high and wide shot. So it ended 4-0 to City, and very comfortable. As I said, it was absolute. Ended as a game after 6 minutes with the incident with the sending off. So really, 4-0 was probably, I didn't want Fulham to suffer anymore, and probably didn't deserve to suffer anymore, but it could have been a lot more than that with City had been on the ball really yesterday. Stats 70% for City, 30% for Fulham, which I thought, that's not bad actually. I thought Fulham did quite well to get 30% with 10 men. City had 20 shots with 6 on target. So again, down towards the 30%. And again, I said a lot of my comments on here was shots high and wide and stuff like that. So I think, again, our finishing on another game where we need to put the ball in the net, would have been a bit of a problem. But yesterday, obviously, it didn't matter in the end. But again, down. We were getting up to the 40, 50%. So that's down to about the 30% again. And I don't think too many were blocked. I think they were mainly high and wide, the shots, rather than being blocked. Fulham had 1 shot, as I think I said before, and 1 shot on target, which is straight up bravo. We had 6 corners, and I believe I read this week that City had 202 corners and scored directly from 2 of them, which is absolutely ridiculous. 1% for a team like City with our backroom staff, etc. Absolutely awful, Manchester City. Pep, awful. You're a brilliant manager, but that was awful. And obviously, we hopefully sorted the penalty situation out, which was another awful thing from City. For the amount of penalties we get, the lack of completion of them was terrible. So 202 became 208 corners, and we now scored from 2. So it's even worse than 1%, isn't it? So absolutely disgrace. Crowd 39,223. I mean, there's a couple of tweets there about the crowd. I'll go on to that again after. I'm not sure how many Fulham fans are there. I can't, from where I am in the south stand, I can't see the top section to see how many Fulham fans are. I saw a picture on the internet, and I saw 2 pictures. One looked reasonably full, but it was quite dark, and then I saw another one which only looks about 1.5 blocks or something like that. So some people are talking about 900 and odd 1,000 Fulham fans, which would be pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. But 39,000 was disappointing. But I'll go into that a little bit again in a bit when we look at the Twitterverse and a couple of comments on there, and obviously what Pep said in his press conference. I mean, player ratings. Look at Mr. Stuart, Brennan. Here we go. And say there's not. As I said, I've allowed for the fact we're playing a 10-men championship team. I've not gone mad with the score. So a lot of the players, even though they played okay because of the circumstances, real. Stuart Brennan, Claudio Bravo had 1 shot fired into his midriff in the first half. That's the only thing, but nothing else to do. Not even any fancy footwork. So he gave me 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'd have to agree with 6. 6 is my basic score, so I'd give 6 to Bravo as well. Cancelo has become a refreshing attacking alternative to Walker, showing the fact he started his career as a winger. Yeah, so he's giving me 8 out of 10. Cancelo. Yeah, I wasn't. Again, yeah, played well, but again, the opposition and what the circumstances. I give Cancelo a 7. Eric Garcia, another breeze for the teenage centre-back. No test of nerve. Fine tackle to stop a late Fulham counter. And he's giving him 7 out of 10. Garcia, I give him 7 out of 10 as well. Yeah, I mean, he did well enough, didn't he? Which it's nice to see. He's got an old head on young shoulders. Otamendi, an easy afternoon for him, but he was aggressive and positive in the early stages. A quality City sometimes lack, and he's given Otamendi a 7. I'm not going to argue with 7. I think that's absolutely fair enough for my defenders today. There's only one defender I give less than 7. Angelino gave City a good outlet down the left on some of his crossing, was excellent. So Stuart's giving him a 7, Angelino. I'll give him a 6.5, a little bit less. I might have been a bit cruel there, but I don't know. Certainly the first half, he often puffed a bit, but I wasn't overly impressed, but he did what he had to do. Ilkay Gundogan kept his thumb on the collective head of Fulham midfield throughout, dictating the rhythm and tempo and taking a fine penalty. He's given him an 8. Yeah, I mean, I give him a 7.5. I'm going to give him a point for the penalty anyway. But again, with the opposition, I mean, it's a sort of game Gundogan thrives in. He's not coming under any sort of pressure whatsoever. And when he's not, he can knock it and look really comfortable. But they're not the games that are really important to us with Gundogan. We need him to do a little bit better tackling-wise and effective-wise when he's under pressure and City are under pressure. But yeah, he had an okay game. Stuart gave him 8, I give him 7.5. Phil Foden, bit hit and miss from the youngster with a couple of poor attempts and misjudgments, but an assist from Bernardo. So Stuart's give him a 6. I think that's a little bit mean for Phil. I mean, I give him a 6.5. I thought he worked hard, but yes, his finishing was really off yesterday. Another day he could have had 2 or 3. Just one of those days, but no, I think he did all right, Phil Foden. But yeah, I give him a 6.5. David Silva added to his collection of memories with a dummy that forced the penalty and some lovely sweet passage. Yeah, I mean that was brilliant. I mean Stuart's given him an 8. I give David a 7. I think he played pretty well again, considering the circumstances and time he was given, etc. Riyad Mahrez was giving Joe Bryan nightmares with his slinky movement and goal threat, but was taken off early after a heavy challenge. So he's given Mahrez a 7. Riyad Mahrez, I give him a 6.5. Yeah, I think he played really well. As I said, he had a couple of nice little jinky things, but nice, comfortable game for Mahrez. Gabriel Jesus won the penalty, bagged 2 headed goals and worked himself silly as usual. Should restore his morale. He's given an 8 out of 10. Whether it'll restore his morale or not, I don't think that's a big problem with Gabby, to be honest with you. But he's given an 8. Yeah, and I agree with Stuart. I'll give him an 8. He's my City man of the match, I think. Yeah, on looking at the scores, I think, yeah, Gabby did what he had to do yesterday as a goal scorer, and I'm sure he worked as hard as ever, which he did. Bernardo Silva, great work for his goal, and his nimble dancing feet were a torment for the Londoners throughout. And he's given Bernardo an 8 out of 10. I give him a 7.5. Yeah, not quite as high as Jesus, but again, as I said, Bernardo's beginning to hit a little bit of form again, considering we were playing. And the subs is Mark Raheem Sterling. For Mahrez, 52. I'm going to give him a 5. Yeah, I'm not going to be cruel. I think he got a 4.5, didn't he, last week? But I'll give Sterling a 5.5. I won't give him a 6 because he just, he didn't improve on his base score for me. And he just, again, the time he was on, just didn't look up to it at all. He didn't give John Stones a mark, so he said it was too late, obviously, to give John Stones. He did 20 minutes with injury time. So I'll give John Stones a steady 6 to agree with everyone else. Pep Watch, yeah, he was okay, and I don't like his red hood. He's a red hoodie that he wears. I mean, obviously, I'm looking for a United badge on it or something. I don't know what the heck that's all about. I don't know, but I don't know if Pep's trying to prove a point. I have no idea. I mean, he was asked whether it was good preparation for United, and as he said, Fulham going out to 10 men did sort of make it a bit odd and a bit strange, and obviously affected the game as a whole, as well as not just Fulham, but obviously ourselves, etc. But so he sort of commented on that, really. There's motivation. The problem was asked against 10 men and the stadium not full. Well, all his comment was about, again, I'll look on Twitter in a minute, but about the fans, obviously, they're hopefully they'll be there for the United game. But Mahrez and Cancelo, I think Mahrez is okay, I think he said, but Cancelo might have a little bit of a niggle there, so he could be. Obviously, we've got Mr. Walker, haven't we? So it's not too bad. So he was asked about him, he didn't seem too sure. And he obviously would sort the penalty takers out, which is right. And he was asked about, is it Poveda, the young lad who's just gone to Leeds, and he said it was a great move for him. Obviously, the Leeds manager is sort of person to bring that player on. So yeah, he looked all right. About 7 minutes, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, something like that. So it wasn't the most bubbly a press conference. It was like the game, wasn't it? Like the game, the atmosphere yesterday. Just have a quick look at Twitter. And then we'll talk about the crowd and the comments yesterday. The stick, obviously, we've been getting as usual. No one else gets it, just City. Let's have a look on Twitter, if it's working, and it's not working all of a sudden. There we go. A great image there that I picked up on it somewhat. It's unusual. I mean, it was obviously Colin Bell with the FA Cup in 1969, obviously, with in the FA Cup League. And I sort of commented it was an unusual perspective of the Platt Lane. I mean, I used to sit in the Platt Lane with my dad and then obviously with my mates for a while, for a few years in the 60s. And it just looks odd with the windows at the back. Of course, they were there, and I remember them, but just that perspective of the Platt Lane isn't one, because you're used to seeing it off the TV. Obviously, it's not really one I'm used to seeing, but that was a great image, wasn't it, of with the cup there. That was absolutely fantastic. At City_extra. Pep Guardiola, this was a comment he made the other day. The problem with Real Madrid, he's talking about the game there, is after 12 or 13 days rest, we have just one game against Leicester, one game before Madrid. The players need rhythm. Against Fulham, I'm going to play players who didn't play in Sheffield. So, well, you know, obviously something may be lost in translation, but we either, you know, it always seems to me we either play too many games and it's a bad thing, or in that instance we're getting arrested, it's a bad thing. So you can't really win, really, can you? But I don't know. I know what he's getting at, but it just seems a bit dodgy, really. At Sky Sports Stato, I don't really do much with Sky Sports. I'm not a big fan of theirs, but there's the interesting. They produced the interesting stat that City have become the first side to score 100 plus goals in all competitions in Europe's top 5 major leagues this season. So that's ahead of PSG, Bayern, Liverpool, and RB Leipzig. So that's an interesting fact. But you know, I think it's 5 seasons on the trot. I think we've scored over 100 goals or something like that. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Stuart Brennan's rating, which we've gone through. Oh, this is it. This is the at Man Citizens.com. This is the 7th consecutive season City have scored at least 100 goals. So 7 seasons. I'm underplaying it in all competitions, becoming the first Premier League team to do this since Ferguson's United did so in 9 consecutive seasons. So we've got to go 9, haven't we? Between 2004-05 and 2012-13. And it's got a little picture of Fergie and Pep and a little quote, "Not in my lifetime." But that's another story, isn't it, Mr. Ferguson? Yeah, and on about this is the basis of the crowd. Obviously, it showed the BBC asking Pep about the crowd. Stretchy at Stretchy99 is commenting, how many times did Ole get asked in the post-match interview about United failing to sell out for a Manchester derby? Yeah, so there's not many. So Pep's interviewed and saying there's not many fans there. He'd hoped for more fans, etc., etc. We'll go on to that in a minute again. At Blue Gale 1, dear City, this is from Blue Gale 1. Just a reminder that our fan base is mainly working class, and January is an absolute, pardon my language, absolute bastard of a month to get through financially. I totally agree with that. Personally, I was at the game today, but I understand why fans can't make it, and so should you. Pep. Yeah, that's directed at Manchester City in general, which is absolutely spot on. And Robert Taylor at Rob Tay MCFC, he's pretty much summed it up for me. I go to most games, he said. I mean, I go to all the home games, obviously. I go to all the home games, but how the F can Pep complain about our crowd? This month, I have paid for Villa away twice, United ×2, so obviously he must take one of his kids or something, or his wife, or his good lady. Real Madrid ×2, Fulham ×2, Spurs ×2, Wolves ×2, Sheffield United ×2, Leicester away pending ×2, including travel, by the way. So yeah, I mean, he was asked in the press conference as well about the crowd, and one thing I find with City and Pep is that they very rarely stick up for the fans. The fans get a lot of stick. I mean, there was 39,000 there yesterday. It was 1,000 Fulham fans, was 38,000. It was on BBC. There's never one thing. My lad didn't go, but not because of one reason. My lad's a bit miffed and pissed off, to say the least, with things like VAR. And we were commenting about Pep's comments about, excuse me, about the fans yesterday. A couple of weeks ago, you know, he very rarely defends the City fans. All right, we're big lads, we can cope with it, but we get enough stick off other people, and no one is held to the standards City fans. I know the crowd. I mean, Arsenal against shocking crowds for a long time. United had a shocking crowd for the first leg of the League Cup final. They couldn't sell out. They can't sell out cup games, United, and you know they're the biggest club in the world with a billion supporters. You know, nobody goes. I mean. But it's City that gets hit over the head time and time again. I would have liked the kids to be a quid yesterday. I think it was it a £5 for the kids. So, but it's nice, perhaps City should think a little bit more when they get these sort of crowds. And January is, I think we've had 5 home games in January. It's getting hard for me. I'm more if I was more my lad's age, I'd be perhaps a bit more picky. My lad's, that's the first game at home he's missed for a long time, but it's different. As I said, he's a bit fed up with VAR. He's a bit fed up with the just with a lot of things. It's just not one thing. And I can understand people like my lad who obviously are a bit annoyed and stuff. And I'm annoyed, but I'm an old fart now. I'm 60. I do these things. I know I don't know how long I've got left. I want to go and see my boys and enjoy what we're doing at the moment. So, and I say next year I'm worried. Obviously the season cards will be up for renewal again. And I'll have to think again, because obviously I'm financially I'm not great at the moment. So things have to I have to make a decision. But City is sort of the thing I do spend most of my leisure money on, and that's as simple as that. And you do have to consider with this VAR thing. I've lost a little bit of the passion this year when goals go in, thinking about whether they're going to be disallowed. It's just more than one thing. But I think City should stick up for the fans a little bit more. I'm a bit upset with Pep, and I'm a bit upset with City. It just shows a lack of love for the fans. And praise the 38,000, 30 whatever City fans that we are yesterday. Praise the fans. Don't pick on them. If someone says anything, say, well, things are tough. We haven't got the glory hunters and the years and years. We lost a generation of supporters, between the 80s and late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There was a whole generation of support went over to United, where dads like me weren't encouraging our lads and girls to be City fans, where they weren't bothered. They were going over to United. So, that generation now, there's a lot of people supporting City now because of who we are, but that's not going to come in the crowds for another 10, 15 years. We're not going to see the product of that. And with this VAR fiasco and how football's being treated, a crowd's going to be increasing anyway. I don't think they are. I think it's a downward slope. So anyway, City, I just want City to get behind the fans for a change. I'm absolutely annoyed that we get stick from our own fans as well. I've seen City fans slagging other City fans off who sat at home watching it on telly, So you can't win, and we get stick up everybody else. But it's not just City. Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Newcastle had quite a good crowd. Everyone was praising Newcastle, but they've been 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 down all season because of protests against their ownership and stuff. But all of a sudden, they do kids for £1. They fill St James's and the wonderful fans again. But hey, they never get slagged off like we get slagged off. So it's not good enough. Not good enough. City aren't good enough defenders. It's not good enough the media having to go about it because they don't pick on anybody else. They don't ask Ollie about it. They don't ask Arteta at Arsenal why all the empty seats and stuff like this. But so anyway, that's just, we could do a whole vlog on it, couldn't we? Lovely, great program yesterday. As you know, my favourite, isn't it? This sort of that's been obviously colorised, black and white background. Fantastic program. I love that. That's probably my favourite cover this season of the program. And obviously inside, there's a bit about Bert Troutman. If you've not watched my vlog on Bert Troutman, please get over and watch that vlog. I did a vlog a few weeks ago, and that's there on my playlist. So please have a look at that. And obviously, that was the game in London where he was going to get most of the stick, wasn't he? Because of memories of the war, etc. So how he won them over. There's a nice piece on Colin Bell, Boxing Day '77, when he made his comeback from that. Attempted comeback. He never was really the same again, was he? Which one of the most wonderful nights at Main Road's history and my history of going to watch City. And there's a nice little piece finally on a lady called Joyce Johnstone, who's actually this famous picture you probably all remember. You've seen it many, many times. And obviously she's there in the white dress, and obviously she sadly passed away, but she was there with a laundry basket in front of her and the other lady, which is always quite a nice touch. But a nice little piece, a tribute to long-serving member of City's backroom staff, Joyce Johnstone there, and a later picture of her. Absolutely fantastic from City there in the programme. Anyway, that's that Twitterverse and the City programme. And we play United, don't we? We got United on Wednesday night. I was quite impressed, actually. Obviously, I was looking through the United programme from the first leg, and they do a good. It's more a magazine, isn't it? It's an absolute super. It is super. if I rate City's programme 6 out of 10, United's is got to be up there with 7.5, 8 out of 10. I hate to say it, but I do like it. It's a bit more magazine-y, perhaps more not for your traditionalist of a football programme, but it gives you everything you want inside it. It is a superb programme. And obviously I was looking at it and thinking back to the disappointed Carabao Cup semi-final, wasn't it? We had this one was where we beat them 2-1 at Main Road, obviously, with in the old Tevez days before we and it was such a disappointment because we were on the cusp, weren't we? On the cusp of actually doing it for them, and then we went over there, and I think a Rooney injury time winner actually allowed them to win the game, United. So it was very disappointing, that Carabao Cup semi-final. And again, because that was the second leg at Old Trafford, and I was thinking back to my first time watching City in a big game like that, and obviously I'm going back to 3rd of December 1969, again, where we played United at home in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. Those days there, and some great images there of a European game against Lierse with the Kipaks in the background and the main stand at night. Always looked better, always looked more ominous. And David Meek was writing in the City programme. Obviously, he was the big United thing, but obviously he used to write in both the City programme and also the United programme. And obviously with the great two teams there, fantastic teams. The City team I grew up with anyway on that sort of day. And that was lovely. I loved it. I missed that where they used to show the cup and they used to show each team and how they did progress through the rounds. I used to look as a kid. I used to love looking at those things. Anyway, yeah. I mean, we won the first leg 2-1. I mean, there's tickets for the second leg. I mean, if you're going to Old Trafford for the replay, it was scoreboard was 8 shilling for adults, which is 40p in today's money, and 4 shilling for juniors, which is obviously 20p. So if you go in there, that's how much it would have cost. So, yeah, good 2-1 win in the first leg. I mean, we'd beat them 4-0 2 or 3 weeks earlier. So I thought, on the night, I thought City perhaps were going to do it again. But obviously we had to be happy with the 2-1. And obviously the replay was a couple of weeks later at Old Trafford. Meet the managers there, the different managers, the coaches, etc., which was nice in the programme. Obviously, the City team, which we all remember that City team, don't we? Fantastic City team in those days. And again, Mr. David Meek, so not only is he writing in the United one, there's the teams for the night. And obviously, he even get to know the score there, don't you? Someone's marked the scorers on it as well. This isn't my original one. I wouldn't have gone to this one, but I would have picked this up over the years, obviously. So, yeah, it was that's the United team. So it was a nice 2-2 draw at Old Trafford, and obviously that took us to 4-3 on aggregate, which meant we went to the League Cup final. Interesting enough, the crowds of that year for United were some of the highest they'd had in the League Cup. So they were sort of saying in the press that that was the year when the League Cup came of age. 1969-70, well, because United was getting good crowds, I don't know, but it became a more recognised as a bigger trophy, and obviously we won it along with the European Cup Winners' Cup that season, 1969-70. So we became the first English club to do a European and domestic cup double, which, no history though, have we? So that was, 50 years ago. So that was a nice to look back at that. Yeah, we want to take to them, don't we? Strong team. We'll definitely put a strong team out. I mean, the bench yesterday was strong. Obviously, I think someone's saying Laporte might be a bit fatigued. Yeah, I mean, he did look tired after Sheffield United, but we may not need Laporte on Wednesday. But I mean, Bravo's probably going to be in goal again, as I said. I think obviously he's our League Cup keeper, so we're going to have to put up with that. United can harm us. We know that. We saw that in the derby at early in the season, didn't we? They can punish us. I mean, we've got a 2-goal lead. We don't really need them to score first. Although I'm not going to start panicking. They do. I don't know what the crowd's going to be like. Mentioning crowd, aren't we? Don't know how we've anywhere near selling out for that. I'm not too sure. I know they didn't sell out for the first leg, but he's got to go strong, Pep, isn't he? For this, he's going to go strong. We should win. I mean, we've got to win, haven't we? I mean, I'd love us to demolish them. I'd love us to pull them apart, but I'll be happy with a simple 1-goal win. 1-0, 2-1, 3-1. I mean, what score will I go for? I'll go for. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, so I'll go for 2-1 City. So a nice comfortable 5-2 on aggregate. And I'll be watching the other game with interest as well, Villa and Leicester. I'm quite interested in that. I think obviously Villa now got home advantage, but I think Leicester might probably nick that one. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing Villa. I mean, I've been, we've obviously previous with Leicester in cup finals, haven't we? I don't think have we played Villa in a cup final. I don't remember playing Villa in a cup final. I might be totally out of it. It doesn't. My memory might be playing tricks, but I don't remember that. But yeah, let's beat United. Let's get that. Let's finish them off, and if we can tater them, all well and good. I'm sure Sergio will be back, and he likes playing United, doesn't he? So, Kevin will be back. So I think we'll have a really good, strong team. It'd be nice to start Phil Foden again. As I say, he didn't have his greatest game yesterday. He tried hard, nothing quite worked out yesterday for him, which was a shame. He'd probably get a little bit more benefit against United, actually, the way they play and stuff. But we have to be careful, but we should be able to win in that, shouldn't we? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little preview and a little look back at another. There's not much to say against United, is that we want to give them a good thrashing, and that's all there is to it. But we'll take a 2-1, we'll take a 1-0, we'll take a win anyway. I mean, I'll be a bit disappointed with the draw, or even if we lost, say, 2-1 or something, went through an aggregate. So I would be disappointed with that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And looking back at the other things, it's noticeable in the United programme. When they're showing past, I'm obviously it's me, but I'm not afraid of showing when City get beat when I do things. Today is the day on Twitter and stuff like that. I don't mind showing when City get beat. That's part of history, getting beat and winning. But obviously, all United things were positives, and I think probably most clubs do that. But I don't really care. It's all part of the history, isn't it? To me, it doesn't make any difference if we've got So when I do on my Twitter things this day today, when I do a thing every day on Twitter from City's past, I don't mind showing things where City have been beaten or whatever. That's just part of our history, so I like to show it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please push the old subscribe button, push the bell notifications. I'll be back on Thursday with a report on the United game. I'm looking forward to Spurs away and a visit to Mr. Mourinho. It'll be quite interesting, won't it? So some good games coming up, some tough games coming up for the next 6 or 7 games. Push the bell notification so we know these citizen vlogs are coming out. And if you like the history side, which I did a little bit of there, I mean, I've done February 1977 very recently, so please have a look back at that. And obviously there's a City quiz and one of some of the recent playlists as well, and things like that. So have a look at my playlist for citizen vlogs, past as well as present, which there's always something there. And as I said, there's a Bert Troutman special that I did a couple of months ago as well on Bert Troutman, and the movie, The Keeper. It was a little combined special as well. So please seek that out if you like that sort of thing. Follow me on Twitter at nostalgia_movie with links to also on Facebook with Brennan with links to movie game nostalgia.com, my website for DVDs, board games and posters if you're into that sort of thing. And obviously I have my movie vlogs and various things, again, all on the playlist. If you want to have a little break from football and want to look at movies and board games and posters, etc., have a look on there. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Another good win. On to the 5th round. The draw's tonight, 7 p.m. So on the One Show. So I might just tune in as someone said it's coming on, because they have all the rubbish, don't they, before, and they have interviewing people and boring stuff like that. I don't want to know. I just want to know what's going on with the football sort of thing. So that's tonight. So we'll have a quick mention of that, obviously, after the United game, and hopefully we're looking forward to another trip to Wembley. But fingers crossed. You never know, do we? We can't, don't speak too soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. Whatever you're going to do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Look after yourself, look after your friends, and more importantly, look after your family. And I'll see you all again very soon. Burn it out. Thanks for watching.